Hey, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode with me, your girl Naya, and
At Kira Jade, Keerajade.
yay! So, as you know, here we are having tea time with the tea girls. So let me go ahead and serve up this nice hot and piping tea, girl.
I wonder what today's topic is going to be. There we go, more. Oh, okay.
All right. So,
Cheers. Oh, she's having something else.
I needed pomegranate.
Oh.
Cheers, girl.
Oh, it smelled. Yum. Oh.
All right, now that we wetted our whistle, let's go ahead and get right to it. So today's episode, I really wanted to talk about is being transsexual, transgender, something that you're born with, or is it something that any man, any boy can become?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay, so explain.
So, a man can choose to be trans, but he is not going to be accepted as trans. Anybody can do that. I mean, look what's going on in the world today, right?
I mean, that's true. I mean,
everyone's claiming to be trans and going in the women's restrooms.
Well, I mean, I honestly feel like, do you think that people coming out as trans is something to do with society and people being able to be themselves? Or do you think that no, it's like people just are choosing to be trans because it's a hot thing or they want attention, or what do you think?
I think there's some girls that it's in their nature. When they were born, they really feel like they were born in the wrong body. They don't feel comfortable seeing their private parts, and they're just not comfortable being themselves.
I get it. So, for example, me, right? I can talk about myself, and for me, I've felt like I was a girl, since I was like, I don't know, as far as I can remember, probably like 6 years old. So it wasn't something like I woke up some magical day and I was like, oh, it was more like being a little kid growing up with other little kids. It was more like, oh, like I started seeing boys and girls were different once I started seeing other people's private parts, because maybe we were just running around naked or whatever. And I kept getting in trouble for being girly from my uncles, my aunts, my parents. They would like get me in trouble for being girly. And I didn't understand at that age what was wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me personally, it's been something that's haunted me, as you can say, or it's been part of who I am since I was a child. What about you? Like, how far back can you remember being or feeling trans?
For me, it's a little bit different. I don't feel like I was born like trans right away. It was something that I felt like, oh, is there something wrong with me? I mean, I do like the same sex. And that's what started it first. And then I started seeing my mom and, like dressing up in her clothes, trying on her heels, like when she wouldn't be there,
Hold on, you would go in your mom's closet and dress in her clothes? Girl, did she have cute clothes at least?
Oh my goodness, my mom is like Imelda Marcos, girl. She had like 300 pairs of shoes. She's a fashionista. So like when I would see her doing her makeup, I would have this like feeling of like, wait, am I supposed to be like that? But at the same time, I was kind of like, but I like boys.
So you've never been attracted to women?
No, never.
Not even a little bit?
No.
So you never dated women or anything?
Never had sex. I mean, I've kissed a girl, but that's it. I've never even seen like a live vag in person. Except yours.
You've never seen a real oyster?
No, oysters and pearls, girl.
Oh my God. So I have. I've been with women. I mean, I love women. I think women are like the most beautiful creatures on planet Earth, whether you have,
whether you have roast beef or what?
No, I mean, like, I meant to say, like, I wanted to catch myself and say, like, whether you are trans or not. But then again, I'm like, no, there's some trans girls and some genetic females that, I don't find attractive. But I have been with women, long story short, I've been with women. But the thing is, I never, since I was a little kid, is the same thing. Like, I didn't want to date women, so I thought that I was gay, and that something was wrong with me on top of it because I did want to dress in girls' clothes.
Because back in the day when it wasn't like super mainstream of everybody transitioning and putting it in like public space and TikTok and all of that, we didn't know what it was, That's why our automatic thing was to think like, oh, I'm gay.
Exactly. And nobody talked about it. So everyone was just like calling people like fags and gay and queer and butterfly and all of these names, So it's just like growing up definitely was a very confusing time for me. But what do you think about grown men, right? That have had like a normal life, go like 30, 40 years, 50 years being straight and being with girlfriends, wives, kids, and then just one day like, I'm trans, I want to be a woman. Do you think that this moment happens just like this for everyone, or do you think that it's something that they've had for a very long time? Do you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I've seen people online, and I've seen one particular person, and this particular person has mentioned that they never felt like they were trans the whole time that they were with their female partner and had kids and everything. And then out of a sudden, like,
poof, I feel like I'm a woman.
Exactly. So it's very hard for me to understand a situation like that because I never had that experience. And anyone that I know personally has never had that experience either. Like all the trans girls that I've known, it's like everyone has the same story. It's like, I mean, except some of them decide to keep their penis and others don't. So, I mean, in situations like this, I'm just like, obviously everybody chooses to live their life however. And I feel like nowadays more people are getting more comfortable with being a woman with a penis.
A woman with a penis.
What?
Sure. Okay, trans.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's talk about this, right? Women. I use the term women for anything that represents
a female body, like
femininity, right? Femininity, woman-like.
Yeah.
I don't think that you have to be female to be a woman. Yeah. I think that you can be a woman and have a penis. Yeah. I think that you can't be a female if you are male. It's impossible. It will never happen. It could be on your documents, but you're not a female, honey. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a battle that's being out there being fought by everyone. And for me, I will never fight that battle. I am male and I present as female, and I consider myself a woman, and that's it,
When people ask you, you're going to be like, I'm male.
Well, if they were asking me what my sex is, like if someone's like, what is your sex? Yeah. I would say I'm male. Yeah, of course I'm male. I mean, I have a vagina, but my chromosomes are male. My sex is...
You have a prostate.
Yeah, they never took it out. But, but that's one thing that I can't understand. It's just like how some people can just change their mind living their life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you know anybody? Have you ever met anybody that transitioned like way later in life?
Yeah, Caitlin.
But no, I mean like personally.
Oh, like a real person?
Yeah.
Honestly, no, it's not like my demographic.
So what do you think about Caitlin, for example, who had like...
Well, I feel like Caitlin is a great example of somebody that we don't really fully know the story or the backstory. Everybody just thinks like one day she woke up as trans, But if you really look into it and do your research, there's been instances where Chris was like, oh, he's been doing that. He's been hiding it. He would do it behind closed doors. It wasn't like a headline news, but she would say things like that. So, you knew this. She knew this was going on way before, even before they had kids. So I wouldn't say that's an exception, but things like that or something like that, people like hide in their past, and only now's the time where they're like, who's to say when you can fully be yourself, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 80 years.
Yeah.
So she felt like that was the time now.
Yeah.
And she did it. So I believe those exceptions are, she is really trans. I don't believe like one day she woke up and she just made herself want to become a woman.
Yeah. Do you think there's people out there that do choose to be trans? Like,
oh, yes. Yes. Girl, hold on, let's have a drink. It's about to get real hot. So yes, there are a few.
because I've known of a few girls.
Yes,
I've known of a few girls.
I've gone to the clubs, like some girls will play dress up and then they catch all the attention and there's like something in them like a little light bulb goes in their head. What if, and then suddenly they're like dressing up every weekend, going to the club.
So let's clarify here.
Yeah.
So we're talking gay boys
Yeah.
at the gay club
Yes.
that start dressing up, putting on the wig, putting on the
Yes.
makeup. They start feeling their oats and they start looking fishy and
Seeing what attention that they get. And then suddenly it's just like, next thing you know, they're going to the doctor and getting a hormone shot.
so do you believe that that kind of trans person that chose to transition is a choice of transition, or do you think that they always had it inside of them?
That was a choice. So in that sense, they chose to be trans. But I believe trans is like being gay. You're born with it. For most of us, that the girls like, oh, something's wrong, like something's not right. That usually when it happens early on, not like when you're already an adult and you're like dressing up and suddenly, oh, I'm trans, I'm getting all this attention. I really believe that there's people that choose because of the attention, because of what's going on in the world today, that they like it and they're able to pass.
Yeah.
Who
would you say out in the world today, out of like the most popular people out there, that you don't believe is trans?
Girl, I'm about to get canceled. Oh.
Do you want to say or no?
Oh, there's somebody on like RuPaul's Drag Race, but I'm not gonna say it. I can't say it. Cancel.
Like, wait, somebody who
starts with a C.
I don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, so I don't know.
Okay, but I mean, she actually turned out very beautiful.
So, do you think in situations like that, it's someone who just chose to become trans and it worked out for them?
I feel like she was on the show and maybe like I said, we all don't know the backstory. Maybe something in her being in such a public eye and her doing this, it was for her a right time to come out as trans. But honey, she was a gay boy. Okay, she was gay. Like, she was a little
twinkie.
Yeah,
twinkie
very twinkie. But I feel like going on the show, it kind of changed her perspective, and she's like, F it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be a woman.
Yeah. Like, for example, one person for me that I don't believe in is Dylan. I don't know how to. I don't know how to.
But that's still a man, sweetie.
Like,
she's still on day one.
Well,
with all the FFS, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like she did that as like a publicity stunt.
Like, I obviously don't know Dylan, right? I don't know Dylan personally, but I just don't believe it because I don't know how any trans person going through gender dysphoria can publicly make it a charade and like a mock of a female or a woman and then parade and like, you know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff. I saw a few videos, probably a total of 20, and then I just could not. I just couldn't. So in a situation like that, I'm just like, I pray to God that this person is really trans because I feel like all these detransition stories that you hear are people like that who at one point in their life, at one point in their life, they're like, oh, I'm getting attention or this seems fun. And then they get stuff done and then later in life regret, So it's like, what do you do then? So for us, for example, we're all chopped up, done up and
diced, diced and sliced.
Exactly. So there is no coming back for us. Have you ever thought about going back? Like, has it ever crossed your mind? Like,
no,
what
never.
If? It crossed my mind. Like, it crossed my mind thinking, like, what if I wanted to go back, right? And I'm like, no.
The thought, but then every time you think about it, it's like, well, it can't reverse it, you know?
Yeah, no, like, I've just thought, like, what would happen if I wanted to go back? Like, you know? But the thing is, to be honest with you, I never felt anything different than who I am today. Like, who you see is someone who I envisioned to become. Like, when I was a little kid, dressing up, and, you know, we had our more of all the wedding dresses of the people who got married.
Yeah.
And that's something that my family does. And I remember I dressed up in a wedding dress, and I was, like, picking it up, and I was just, like, walking around the house when nobody would see me. And from that moment, I imagined myself being this person that I am, you know? And it was like a dream come true, but it's like, it's something that happened from the start. It's not like I changed my mind. I never, you know, I had detransition moments in my transition because of all the hatred, of all the things that I had to go through, but never once did I ever feel like, oh, this is the wrong choice. I messed up, you know? I always felt like this was the right thing for me. So how do you feel about your overall transition?
Well, my transition, I never looked back. This is just how I really felt on the inside. When I would see myself naked, I would just hate it, you know? Like, I didn't care. I just wanted it gone every time I saw it. So that was like my dysphoria. I just didn't want to see it anymore because I felt trapped. And I was like, this is not me. This is not me, you know?
What kind of advice would you have for all the young trans people or really old trans people that are transitioning?
For the 60s and up, no.
Yeah, like, what kind of advice would you have for someone who's transitioning and thinking about doing it, and they're scared or like...
Depends what they're doing it for. Are they the ones that do it because they want attention?
So how do you know why you're doing it? How do you know the difference between I'm doing it just for attention or because I actually feel good? Do you know what I'm saying? Because it could be like, where is the line of you putting on a wig and makeup and then feeling really good about yourself and you're like, this feels good versus this is who I am?
We don't know. But the person that's actually wanting to transition or feels that way knows deep inside why they're doing it. But we will never know.
That's true. That's true. I don't feel like I'll ever know.
Yeah, we won't know. They'll know. They know why. We can make speculations. We can talk about it, but only they know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people who transition at much later in their life and have like a second life as a woman, I commend them. Like, I honestly, I'm just like, it's such a strong decision to make out of your life that it's like, how could you not be sure, right?
Yeah.
But still, I'm still stuck at, I don't understand how a grown man who's always felt like a man, never felt any different, transition and just be like, hi. You know?
You can't just wake up one day and say, I'm trans. Those are like the fake trans.
So do you think there should be laws protecting the trans community and female community? Because obviously as people transition, and more people transition, there's a lot of lines here that are being crossed. And like one of them, for example, is like when you're trans and you still have a penis, for example, or you haven't gotten any surgeries and then you're over there going into the female locker rooms and changing and you can accidentally expose yourself or something like this. Like, do you believe that there should be laws to draw lines, you know, between this is a female space or this is a woman's space above this? Or do you think that you're like, no, if someone feels trans, it doesn't matter in where in your transition, you know, whether you're the 50-year-old man who decided to transition from one day to the next, and then you're just allowed to go wherever you feel like it? Or do you think there should be laws truly defining what it is, that it is okay to, you know, allow certain people in certain spaces?
I believe, like, if you're post-op, you should be able to go in the women's restroom whenever you feel like, regardless of how you look. You know what I mean? Like, regardless, you have the female parts, you know? So you should be able to go into the women's restroom, even if you're growing a beard. You get what I'm saying? I mean, you do. But for those that are pre-op, it's just so hard to tell. You know what I mean? Like, how can you make a law judging based on somebody just by how they look? And how do you know if they're pre-op or not?
No, I'm saying, like, would you make a law, like, if you have a penis, you cannot go into a female locker room, for example?
That law will never pass because there's going to be so many girls that are so passable and they're still pre-op and go into the bathroom because they feel more safe. So
Yeah, of
that
course.
law wouldn't really pass, but I mean, in a perfect world, we could make a law, but that would never happen.
Yeah. Do you think it would be a good idea if it happened?
Yeah, of course. It would be a good idea. I believe no matter what, even if it was man-made, whatever, they belong in the women's. If you're pre-op, maybe make a transgender bathroom. That would be the best solution. That way nobody would ever fight on, oh, this person's going to the men's, this person's going into the women's, but they look like a man, you know?
But what do you think about this, right? So now you have a restroom with trans people going in it. Do you think that that's a target? It puts a target on trans people's backs, that somebody who hates trans people now could wait outside of this third bathroom and attack someone because they're
Girl, you better get a fucking security guard. Put it on the tax, add to tax.
But, you know, because I don't know. I think that third restroom situation is not it. I don't think that, But I do have my opinions about, you know, people who are penises to go into women's spaces. I think that those who are doing it definitely need to be very respectful and not accidentally get exposed, because it shines such a bad light in what trans is. And I feel like if one woman had that experience, like, you know, that whole thing that happened with the swimmer, Leah Thomas. They said the women that were in the swim thing, they were saying that Leah would change in front of them.
Yeah, no. Why would you do that? Even if you are claiming to be trans and you have male genitalia, why would you do it? Why would you take off your clothes in front of other women? That doesn't make sense.
But other women do it in front of other women, so.
Well, yes, that's fine. That's like going into the women's fitting room and you're just kind of changing. But
so it's not okay if you have a penis to do it the same way, right?
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would love to invite someone to our tea time that transitioned very, very late in life, you know? So we could, girl, that would be a kiki. Like, I would love, so it could really shine a light for us, you know, and we could really understand, because I've watched videos of girls talking about it and I still don't get it, because it's just like, they don't really truly get to the bottom of it.
And we don't know, because
you know?
we've never really talked to a really old trans.
Yeah. Now, what do you plan to do with your life when you get old, you know? And you're, you know, I've seen this comment on my YouTube. They're like, so when you age and all this stuff, I don't even know what they're talking about. So do you know any old trans people?
I mean,
like, have you heard of anyone who's old, like, and still trans?
Yeah, Caitlin. When we're all
fairly young, I feel like she's
70.
Yeah, but
72. That's not young, is it?
She's 72.
I think she's 70. In her 70s.
I don't know. I've never met anybody that's old and trans.
Ooh, Sasha.
Vegas Sasha?
We should invite her.
How old is she?
Girl, she's like, when she was working at the club, she was already in her 60s. That was when she left in her when she turned 60.
And for those of you who
invite her.
For those of you who don't know,
Yes.
the club, we're talking about the strip club. So she, there's this trans.
She's iconic.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She was like the icon of Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, and she was stripping at one of the most popular strip clubs here in Las Vegas. She actually stripped around in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But but I guess, I don't know. I
should
really
invite
want
her.
Let's do it.
We should do it. I've seen her on TikTok and she's like doing makeup.
Really?
And she'll do a lot of like transvestites and cross-dressers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So maybe
oh
she
my
can better
God.
explain.
I would love that. I really wanted to have you today and really talk about this, because I wanted to see what your take was on this, right? Because we're both very different in our opinions of things. And I know sometimes we don't agree on certain things, but for this, it's like I wanted to know if you really agreed with, with the way that the world is headed and like just any person transitioning and what that does to the community, Do you think that it's hurtful for the community or no?
Of course, because now people think that anybody can just claim to be trans and do whatever they want and just be a full-on beard, look just like a man in slacks or whatever society thinks a man looks like, and she can identify as a her or say she's trans. So we've gotten to the point in society where it's like that right now. So now we don't even know where to draw the line because everybody's saying something different.
That's true. I have seen a lot of people use the term trans. That's why I reclaimed the term transsexual, because transsexual is an actual medical term that defines somebody who has had medical operations or medical procedures in order to change their body in order to reflect what they feel inside. Like, I feel like woman, right? Yeah. So I'm a transsexual. I'm not transgender. Like, I guess you could put me under that umbrella, but I almost don't want to be part of it because I know the rest of the people that claim to be transgender are
bearded
or something like that. And and I'm just like grouping everybody together under that umbrella. I feel like that's what people talk about when they're like, that's hurting the transgender community. So now we got some comments. Let's address the comments.
Ooh,
let's address the comments. So some of the comments that we got on our last video. Which one was like the juiciest comment for you?
Which one?
Do you remember any of them?
Oh my gosh, I do remember one where they're saying like we should have fun. We're having too much fun, and you have a platform, and you could really make a difference.
I mean, I feel like I make a difference by talking about the things that I care about, and in the way that I feel is fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna. Cheers. So, I feel like I do have a platform, and from our last video, there was a lot of people who unfollowed me, girl. There was a lot of people who unfollowed me, and I was just like, okay.
But those are the people that you don't want.
But I mean, my followers still went up. And honestly, I don't care about the followers in the sense of the numbers and all of that. I care about the people who follow me to learn from my experience, to learn from your experience, from, other people that I may choose to invite. And that's that, like, I don't feel like I'm on here to put on a show, and do whatever people want me to do. Like, you're not going to stick your hand up and then treat me like a puppet. Like, I'm going to talk and say whatever I want and how I feel it. So, the comments that people wrote in some of our other stuff, I was just like, oh my God. There's a lot of them that didn't get approved, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I know. Blocked.
X. No, but you know what? We're always learning every day. We still don't know everything that there is to be known by trans. Like you said, we haven't talked to like someone that's in the elderly community. You know what I mean? So we don't have any perspective. So until we do, then it could shed a light on like how we think about that.
That's true, because we could see them on videos on YouTubes and TikToks and everything. We don't know. And at the end of the day, we don't know.
We're always learning.
So, all right, well, cheers. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yes, and thank you.
Clean bed. So if you are a trans girl out there and you are interested in hopping with Tea Time with the Tea Girls.
Yes, we have your seat right here.
But really, if you'd like to be part of this show, please reach out, and we would love to have you.
Would you like to be part of the circus?
Oh my God. No, but I guess that comes to a conclusion, and I'm very happy that we're still doing this. If you guys want to know about, anything personal about what you guys want us to talk about, let us know. But until next time, thank you, and see you guys next time. Bye.